and welcome to MS Positive. This is the first episode of MSers Talk. And to kick off this series, we have a very special guest with us today. The YouTuber and influencer, your boy M to the T, Armando Trinidad. Welcome, Armando. How are you doing? Thank you for being here. What's up?
Hey, what's up, man? It's going pretty good. Just chilling, having a good time.
Great. So first of all, thank you for accepting my invitation and being here. I would like to talk to you about different stuff that's going on out there, starting with the COVID vaccine. Honestly, how do you feel about the vaccine for us MSers? A lot of people are a little bit apprehensive. They're kind of, not sure if they should get the vaccine or not. I am fully vaccinated. I have the two Pfizer vaccines and the booster. How about you?
Me personally, once again, I give credit to kudos to everybody that's vaccinated. My whole family's vaccinated. My mother, my family, my wife, everybody that I know, my family is vaccinated. And the facility where they go. Now, my concern with that was because since I went through a couple issues when I first got introduced, when the COVID got first introduced to my body, It kind of sent me back a little bit. It sent me back because my doctor explained to me, he said with a strong medication like that, you tend to get worse before you get better.
Right.
And so I didn't know that, but when he told me that, I was like, okay, I went with that. And obviously, it went on, and thanks to the Lord above, I'm okay. I'm going on to my 10th dose of Ocrevus. So I've been doing this for a while. When it comes to the vaccine, though, back to that, I kind of feel hesitant because I didn't know how my body's going to react to a new medication.
Right.
And that was my only thing. Like I said, once again, if it comes down to the nitty gritty and I have to do it, by all means, I will. But long as I have the option to rather to or not to, there's a 50-50 chance of me getting COVID or me not.
Right.
It's the same thing with the vaccine. With the vaccine, is a 50-50 chance you get in that. So with just that, me personally, once again, for MSers, I know that we're autoimmune disease where, we can get it out of the way and it could be worse for us. So please, I recommend it to everybody that, feels a little hesitant, get the vaccine.
I kind of was observing what was happening out there, how people were reacting to it. And I talked to other people that live with MS and had been vaccinated before me. And I just wanted to hear from them. What was their experience? So then after a little while, I decided that I wanted to go back out there. I was completely isolated. Also, my physical condition, I was deteriorating a little more. So I decided that I wanted to go back to take my physical therapies and my occupational therapy. And for that, I had to go out to the rehab center. And I was scared thinking of, me being inside a building with a bunch of strangers. And not being
with
vaccinated.
That, the facility where I go to, thank God, it's not a big facility. It's mostly like a one-on-one therapy. And sometimes I have the group therapies.
Okay.
But thank God, all the therapists over there, everybody over there is vaccinated. Mm-hmm. And I know me, for a chance, like I said, I take the risk because I know that, unfortunately, because I'm not vaccinated, I got to follow the correct protocol.
Right.
I got to make sure my hands are clean. I got to make sure everywhere I go, I have a mask on. Yeah. I got to make sure that I keep my 6 feet distance. So those are protocols that I kind of know that I strictly got to go by because I'm not vaccinated.
Right.
So I'm not one, I follow that rule and I'm like, okay, now I know why, because once again, I'm not vaccinated, but I'm not trying to get sick or trying to get worse. So I got to hold it. But yeah, you got to follow the right protocols. And like I said, kudos to you and credit to you for doing that because, there's stuff that you got to do and like that you can live more comfortable like that. You don't have to be stressing about. That's another stress on top of MS.
Right, exactly.
On top of everything else.
Yeah. Also, I have little kids, and they can't get
Oh yeah.
they can't get vaccinated yet because their age. So that was another thing that I said, maybe I should go get the vaccine and try to protect them that way,
Yep.
the best that I can, just being vaccinated myself and all the adults in my household as well.
Yourself, like I say, that's a perfect 100% perfect reason
Yeah.
to get vaccinated. Because
Exactly.
you're around people, you're around, you have a large, have a family,
Right.
you see other people, especially your kids that go to school with thousands of kids.
I tell you what my experience was with the vaccine. I thankfully didn't have any major reactions or side effects to it whatsoever. The first one, and I tell you, my MS is very active, so that was one of the reasons. I was a little apprehensive and trying to wait.
What vaccine you got?
I got Pfizer. I had like a mild sore arm, maybe. I didn't get any fever. I had like a headache, sort of a headache that wasn't really a headache. It would like come in and out or on and off, and it went away by itself. I didn't even have to take any medications. I didn't get tired. And the sore arm lasted maybe 48 hours top. And then the second one, I only had pain on my arm and it was mild as well. Now, when I got the third one, next day, I was extremely tired. Like I literally didn't get out of bed. I didn't feel sick or nothing. I was just extremely, extremely tired. Like I had no strength. But it wasn't tired like MS tired. It was just tired. I just couldn't get out of the bed. So I don't think it flared any of my MS symptoms. It was just a reaction.
You know what was interesting is I had my therapist, my occupational therapist. She's a cancer survivor. And she suffered from that, and she said that exactly about the same thing. She said the second or third day that she took the booster, she was in bed all day. All day, but it wasn't in bed that she couldn't, like you said, it wasn't an MS flare-up. It was just her whole body was just like relaxed, like just stay in the bed. So I can see it now, because right now, the way you said it explains perfectly the way she said it.
Yeah, I have talked to a lot of people that live with MS and have been vaccinated, and pretty much everybody gives me the same feedback. So maybe one or two had a fever, but the rest of them really what they presented more was being tired, and it just resolves in 24 hours. Next day you're just fine and go on with your life.
Yeah, it's nothing.
So nothing to be like scared of, really. Like
to panic about,
So, all right, let's switch gears here. We're gonna get to the nitty gritty right now, okay?
Yep.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm more than ready for this one. I don't even know what was for it though.
Okay, so here I go. We know that MS can affect our sexual life. True?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Did I go too far?
No. You hit the button right there, sweetie. But yes, unfortunately, it does.
Listen, I think it's important that we talk about it, because a lot of people just don't talk about it, or they talk about it in a clinical way, like, the medical part of it, but they don't really say it like it is.
Yeah, and they don't say it like you said earlier, like they don't get down to the nitty gritty.
Exactly.
And say how it is. Well, I can start if you want me to give you my experience.
Go ahead. Hey.
I'll take one for the team, guys. That was, to be honest, one of my first symptoms I started feeling. I started getting, and that was the crazy part about it. Yeah, but I wasn't even nowhere near getting diagnosed with my MS.
Right.
So when this started happening, that's when I went crazy. Me personally.
How many years before your diagnosis you started?
It was. I would say about a year and a half to 2. Okay. Before getting diagnosed, but because I got a whole story that goes beyond, with that. That's the reason why I had to get to, go to the doctor and check. And once again, I had nothing with me. I felt healthy as a horse. I never had any issues, any medical issues or anything like that. So nothing in my mind that I ever come across, get a neurological, get an MRI, and see what's going on with your body. Me, I was just in the whole shock, like what's going on with my body. You know what I mean?
Right.
And by all means, like I said, us guys, my
Yeah.
fellas, you hear me? We, this is something that we don't talk about because ain't
Period.
nobody
You
want to
guys don't
talk
talk
about it.
about it,
Yeah,
period. Imagine with
ain't no
MS.
exactly. We ain't trying to
That.
let nothing about that out. So imagine with that being said, it's
Yeah.
like, man, what's going on?
Right.
So check this out. So long story short, that happened to me, and when that happened to me, and then the moment it happened, I just get into a brief little story of, not story, but it was to a point that when it happened, I was with my partner, and when we went to when it happened, when it came to the situation, nothing of nothing. And that was the first time that I've ever had it to. And I was like, yo, what's going on? I thought it was problem with me. I don't know. I'm blaming that maybe I was tired, that I did work 60 hours a week. So I don't know. I started looking for excuses. I started looking for excuses. Oh, maybe, today, well, whatever, it can happen. But then when I started noticing that it started happening more frequently, that's
Right.
when I started getting worried. That's when I was like, yo, what's going? Unfortunately,
Yeah.
due to that, and I mean, like I said, I'm a man of my word, and I'm a man in general, and I can say that this is a situation that it does affect,
Yeah.
obviously, with our partners and our relationships. Well, through that, my relationship went downhill from there, and ended up in having other situations. My partner going out with somebody else and just leaving.
So it
But
really
then
affected
again,
your relationship.
yeah,
It really, really
it
affected it.
affected because that was something that she didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was going on. You know what I mean? And at the end
Right.
of the day, you look at it in a relationship. That's the common thing of having a relationship. That's part
Exactly.
of it. I mean, that's life.
Mm-hmm.
And so, anyways, so that was it. That was the first couple of symptoms, and like I said, that was one of the first things I started feeling. And then after that came because I had surgery on my excuse me, I had surgery on my knee. So that from that surgery, I went limping and whatever. But that's my stuff. But that's the whole thing was with the ED was that. And man, like I said, and well, I'm assuming it's the same thing for you, for y'all ladies, that whoever's suffering from this, that it's not up.
Right.
So that's the main thing that we get is like, man, what's going on? How can it be possible?
And
After so many years.
at that time you were pretty young. So
Yeah, I was only 20 what?
it wasn't normal for your age. So you were wondering probably like, what the heck? Like what's
Yeah,
happening?
I
Must have been
thought I
a
was like,
little
man,
scary.
I was like, Jesus, I know I didn't throw the wrong dice. But no, but it was just that, and like I said, that was the first thing. But I took it like a man, and I was just like, you know what, it is what it is. Let's see, we'll figure it out. And then in the long run, when I figure it out, I was like, a little too late already.
Yeah.
But
But at
that's
least you
when
had
I
a
when
reason
I
why. You found out why.
and I had a reason why, and I was like, oh, okay, now I know what the issue, and
Yeah.
and start off and little by little. But the good thing is there are medications for that.
Right.
So and then I got introduced to a couple medications that I can take, and thank God I take those medications. Everything was functioning, perfect. Everything was fine. But just knowing that, my mindset was like, man, now, for me to
Yeah.
perform anything that's going on, I might have to rely on medication.
Right. I'm glad that you
But
are open to talk about it
oh yeah,
because
I am because the end of the
it's a sensitive matter.
it's a sense exactly, and I know that because me myself at the point, like I said, when it happens, I was like, yo, what's going on? What's
Yeah,
this
I
issue?
can
But
imagine.
I do it I do it as to bring awareness, like I do in my channel, and everything else is because you know what? It's not us, man. It's
Right.
MS, and like
Exactly.
I always said from the beginning, we got MS, but don't let MS have us.
Right.
So we got to keep going, and we got to figure out. There's always alternatives. There's always solutions.
I learned about it like after the fact. Like I didn't really know that MS could actually affect your sensation in your private parts until it started to affect me. And then I was like, this is real. But in my case, I mean, I don't know if you're interested in learning what happened to me, but
No,
I'm
no,
going to
no,
say,
no, but that's what I'm saying. I want to hear your side now, to your point of view.
I'm going to say it anyways.
You know?
So here I go again. In my case, it was the opposite. It was the opposite. My sexual life started pretty early or fairly early in my life. And it was good. I won't lie. It wasn't bad. But now when I compare what it is to be intimate, having a mess, it's completely different. So now I have hypersensitivity, not only in my private parts, but all over my body, something that I live with. When I was diagnosed with MS, I was paralyzed from head to toe on my right side. And as I started to recover, and as I started to recover my sensations, and everything started to wake up, I developed hypersensitivity to the point that it was hurting me. So touching my hand was painful, or my right foot, it was painful because all my nerve ends were like, angry.
Oh, so then you guys, well, I say you guys, you ladies, you were having a tingly feeling, and more of a tingly sensational feeling, right?
Right. But at that point, when I am recovering, that my sexuality and my private parts were not affected yet. This was a process. I would say maybe a year after being diagnosed, and once I started to recover, or all my sensations on my arm, on my thigh, on my leg, all over my right side, then I started to get some weird buzzing and tingling. Very weird. I didn't know what the hell that was.
And it was and all of that was just through your right side?
From my right side, yes, because MS has affected mainly my right side. It was something that, like, it would travel from my hip through, in between my legs. But it wasn't nice. It was very, very
Yeah.
It was
very amazing. If it would have felt nice, they would have been like, hey.
It was very annoying, especially at night. I couldn't fall asleep because that sensation would go full force.
And did you get that sensation like any time of day? Like it will be like throughout the day?
As far as I was like distracted doing something else, I couldn't notice it. Did not really pay attention to it. But at night, when I was about to go to bed, that's when it,
that's when you felt the
And over time, it started to get worse, not only buzzing and tingling, but I started to feel burning sensation. I started to feel also like I had Vicks vapor.
Oh, yeah.
Very strange stuff.
Like that menthol. Yeah.
Like menthol, exactly. Very, very strange. Yeah. Eventually, when I switched to my second DMT, to Ocrevus, things started to subside. But when it comes to being intimate, this is where I go to the nitty gritty here. It's amazing because now I have hypersensitivity. Now I have that same hypersensitivity that doesn't bother me anymore.
You're at another level, mommy.
Yeah, I'm like, I was here and I'm like up here. I have read about people women in particular, that lose sensation, and it affects their relationships because their partners think, oh, she doesn't like me. She doesn't like sex anymore. She's not enjoying it. I'm not good for her, whatever. But in my case, it's the opposite.
Well, that's what I laugh is those are the pros and cons of life, Exactly. Pros and cons. There's things that, things that happen and sometimes that we can't explain, and it works out on the other side,
For me, I mean, I guess I got lucky because this is not the case for everybody, but hey, I'll take it because I have to deal with a bunch of crap with this MS thing. And, this is like a little perk. That I
Yes, man. This is a plus.
I'm even joking. So when I compare, I'm joking, and that is for real. I'm joking.
I'm just thinking about that got me choking.
So when I compare to how my sex life was before, this is something I want to share with you and everybody that's watching. That I kind of felt that I didn't have full sensation in my vajayjay. I really thought at times that, I couldn't really like feel the whole thing like I've heard from other friends of mine. And I'm like, why I don't feel that way? But again, it wasn't a bad sex life. I just had that little concern. And then when this thing happened to me with MS, now it's the opposite. Now I have 300% sensation.
Now you're the one going up to your friend like, girl, let me tell you something.
Girl, if you think you had it good, you haven't heard anything.
Man, love
So,
it. See, that's a good story. It's just what you gotta see.
Again, I'll take it any day. Hello.
Yeah, it worked out.
It works. It works out for me really good.
Yes,
So I think that I've had MS all my life. Now that I recognize what the symptoms are, I realized that maybe I had MS since I was a little girl. So I think that lack of sensation that I had before, I think it was some sort of the numbness that people talk about, women talk about that they have with MS. I think that's why I had. And then after I had this episode with MS and I got diagnosed, everything woke up. That's the way I see it. Because, for instance, I used to live with a lot of pain on my body. There was no reason for me to be in pain. And I learned to live with that pain. Once I had that MS attack that paralyzed me, all that disappeared. It was like everything reversed. So I'm thinking, okay, so the lack of sensation that I had all those years reversed as well, and now I have extra sensation, So it's how I make sense of it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but see, as from my case, it's a whole different approach because I've been sexually active since very young, and then all of a sudden this happened.
Exactly.
And it came to a point that I'm like, whoa, what's going on? This is the normal, this is the regular what we do. And now I'm stuck with okay, this is the situation I'm in now.
Exactly.
So you see, that's how crazy MS is.
Right.
Okay, for you it was that situation and it ended up working out. And and as in that point that I'm saying, only in that point. And then for others it's a whole other switch around.
Exactly.
It's a whole change of lifestyle.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I find so crazy about this MS thing, man, because this MS is it's a complete change of lifestyle.
Right.
No matter which way you look at it.
Right. And these are the things that you don't hear because most of the information out there or videos out there about multiple sclerosis and sexuality come from some MS organization. Not really from the patients. You don't get to hear people's stories, so it's great that we can both share, the male side and the female side in this.
Yeah, because that's, it's perfect. That's both sides of, and that's the way it is. There's some MS patients that never had no problem with that at all.